At sixth overall in the Western Conference, we have the low down and dirty post skills, old school offensive end. They have Vince Carter, Memphis Grizzlies, last year with a record of 55-27, with incredibly notable additions of Andrew Harrison and Matt Barnes, and lost, this actually matters, Costa Koufis. This is a team that hasn't changed too much. Very, very gritty team. Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph inside, physically manipulating anyone they want, and Mike Conley still being one of the best point guards in the league that no one talks about. This is a team that's every year it's the same thing. It's a team that's going to destroy you down low, and if they hit their threes, that's going to be the make or break. Do you see it any different this year, or do you think they've somehow found the magic sauce?
Well, I mean, I think the Grizzlies were a team that could beat any team in the Western Conference. I think even with a healthy Mike Conley, and if everything was working together, they could potentially beat the Golden State Warriors. The issue with the Grizzlies is always that they can't do it for an entire Western Conference playoffs and get to the finals. They're a team that's been one of the most successful in the West for a very long time. I personally like the pickup of Matt Barnes. You get a defensive guy that can stretch the floor. Shooting's been a big issue with the Grizzlies. I think even though he's a big part of their culture, I think it's time to move on from Tony Allen. They really need to get more dynamic scorer at shooting guard, someone that can space the floor. Off the top of my head, if they could go out and get someone like a Kevin Martin even, I think that would make a big difference for them. The reason that I don't have them as high is I expect a little bit of a step back. As much as I do like the pickup of Matt Barnes, I think losing Koufis hurts. I think we're going to start to see a little bit of a decline in Zach Randolph. He's someone that is really getting up there in age. I mean, you're talking about a player that was with Rasheed Wallace back with the Jailblazer days. He's well past his best days, and I think we're going to see a little bit of a decline there. Jeff Green's a big question mark. He's someone that could have a big impact for them, but traditionally he's kind of hurt teams more than he's helped it. They have one of the best point guards in the league in Mike Conley, but there's just too much with them, and there's too many teams that have taken a step up in the Western Conference for me to put them in the top half of the West.
Now, I agree with what you're saying, and I think because of their talent, we have to put them there. But does it not seem a little bit strange that teams... Now, I guess this is just consistency versus potential, right? Because we're looking at the other two teams we said would make the playoffs, but worse seeded than them, the Utah Jazz and Pelicans. Both these teams have incredible potential. They haven't filled it. Memphis has filled their potential, but doesn't seem to have much more left in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the real question is, does their potential keep them alive enough for this year, at least, until these guys catch up? Because while I agree with you, you know, the whole transition into small ball, like, you know, we're seeing Draymond Green play the 5, we're seeing this. I mean, Memphis' thing was they have to make you play their game, slow the game down, and just destroy you with fouls and just smart play. I remember one guy in the offseason, Aaron Aflalo, was one guy I was a little surprised didn't go after. I thought he would have been kind of interesting. But the Kevin Martin deal, I actually think for both teams is actually fantastic. It would hurt them to give up Tony Allen, but I think Tony Allen would be a fantastic mentor there, because we're talking about nice young older mentors in Minnesota. Mentor their young players. They had Andre Miller, Kevin Garnett. I think having Tony Allen there for a guy like Andrew Wiggins would be kind of nice. But they do need some scoring. Now, this is obviously not a very sexy team, but do you think this is a team that's literally going to make a splash, or have we seen the end of a really contending Memphis Grizzlies as we know them?
I don't think they necessarily need to make a splash. I think a few minor adjustments, and I mean, if Zach Randolph continues to be Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol's obviously one of the top 3 centers in the NBA. Mike Conley's probably a top 6 point guard. They have a lot there. I just think they need to get a little bit more depth. They need to get some shooting at the shooting guard position. If you could keep Tony Allen in a bench role, that'd be great. But moving on from him playing heavy minutes is probably going to benefit them. Obviously, they need Matt Barnes to come in and contribute. You never know how that's going to work out, as he's a bit of an enigma. So I don't think they need to reinvent the wheel by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think they need to be active in trying to pursue an upgrade for them.
I agree. So this is a team, people have seen them there before, and everyone, writes them off when they're talking about the top teams, but no one really wants to face in the playoffs. Like I don't think there's one team, just to finish up, that gets as much. I really hope I don't run into them. Like we've heard between the Spurs, OKC, the Clippers for the last 2, 3, 4 years now, they're just like, as long as we don't have to deal with them, we're fine. So there could be no.
I mean, if you hit Memphis in the first round, it could dramatically alter your chances of making it to the finals. Like a fully healthy, well-rested, ready for the playoffs Grizzlies team. They have fantastic coaching as well. If they have all their weapons and they have time to scheme for you, they're going to beat you up. If they don't beat you, they're going to beat you up, and you're going to have a lot of trouble moving forward. So they are a really good team.
Yeah, and they also seem to have the Clippers number, and I'm hoping that's the case. That there's a weird part of me that really wants to see one last hurrah with the Grizzlies versus the Clippers in the playoffs. Seeing Blake and Zach go at it, seeing DeAndre and Marcus less so, but Mike Conley against Chris Paul. I don't know. I just feel like that is one of those awesome matchups that could be something to say, because there's a lot of people out there who put the Clippers potentially regular season anyways as a top team in the West, and like we were saying, with if injuries or anything happen, you could see them dipping down a little lower, being Memphis. That's the matchup I'm really, really hoping for, because I think that'll be a good one. But as always, guys, if you agree or disagree, leave your comments below. These have been the Memphis Grizzlies, and this is going to be a tough team. I'm already kind of bruised just talking about them, and I haven't even played a single game. From Justin and myself, this is Worst to First, hoopslounge.com. Join us next time.